10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to another fantastic video conference coming to you live from the Mars Lab here at the Museum of Applied Arts and Sciences. My name is Craig.
And I'm Isabel.
And we're both we'll just apologise at the very start for being a little bit late. We just had a few technical difficulties getting our wonderful guests coming in online, but we now have them.
So, good.
Yeah, it's going to be terrific. We have a terrific conference for you today. It's titled Mars One, a one-way ticket to Mars. And I think it's that one-way bit that's got most people out there really thinking, and that's where lots of our questions are going to come from today.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you probably know that Mars One started and really created quite a storm around the world when over 200,000 people applied to be one of 4 people to be the first Martians, the first people to go to Mars. And I call them Martians because it is a one-way journey. There's no coming back, or at least highly unlikely that you would ever be coming back. And that's one of those things that's really got all the questions out there with our students really interested.
Yeah.
Now, it started with 200,000, is now down to about 600. Around about 25 of those people are Australians, and we have 6 of those today to meet. And we will in just a moment. But first of all, let's meet our other important guests.
Yeah, you guys. We want to meet you guys. Now, we have 9 schools joining us from all over New South Wales today. So we want to hear a little bit of a hello from you guys. Now, I'm going to get you to keep your mics muted for now. But I want to see you guys do the biggest wave that you can do when we call your school's name. Okay? So, first off, we want to say hello to Bangalore Public School. There they are. They just came in. There, that's them right there. Okay. And then Glenmore Park High School. Give us a big wave. Okay. And Mathura. Oh, there they are at the bottom there. Hello. Norfolk Island out in the Pacific.
Do we call Norfolk Island New South Wales?
They are, definitely. What about Ramsgate? Where are you guys? Oh, look at that big bunch in the corner there. Hello.
These are the most enthusiastic students we've had.
Oh, for sure. Repton Public School. Oh, hello. St. Clair High School.
Oh, a wave. A Mexican wave.
Yeah, an actual wave. Oh, very nice. St. Joseph's Primary. Oh, right there in the middle. The Junction Public School. Hello, everyone. And last but not least, MLC School in Sydney.
There we go.
Hi.
A couple of waves.
So welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us today. We have a really fantastic video conference for you.
Yeah. Now, I just want to explain to you how today is going to go, because it's a little different to some of the video conferences we've run before. We're going to cut this one into 2 halves. And in the first half, we're going to give you the opportunity. We've already got some questions from some of the schools who've already sent them in, and it's a big list, and it has lots of overlaps. There's lots of very common questions that people want answered. And we're going to get some of those out of the way at the beginning to let you start to get a feel for our different candidates that we have. We'll refer to them as candidates. I keep wanting to call them contestants. But we'll call them we'll call them candidates. And we will, in that first half, give you the opportunity to present your questions and share and hear some responses from the candidates. And then in the second half, we're going to let you start to go online and send some online questions to us after you've heard from the candidates and you've started to develop some different opinions. And also the chance to vote for who you think should go to Mars. All right, that's pretty tough on the candidates, but it's going to be fun for us. All right, but we of course should
meet them.
The reason
I'm super excited to meet them.
Yeah,
okay, let's do that.
All right, thank you for coming in.
No worries, thank you for having me. My name is Jake. I'm from the western suburbs of Sydney, and I'm 20 years old.
All right, thank you. We're looking forward to hearing more from you soon, Jake. And your side?
Well, we have Sunui here.
Hi everyone.
So,
my name's Sunui, I'm 36 years old and I'm from Sydney.
Okay, excellent. Right. And Josh.
Hi everyone, my name's Josh. I'm 29 and I'm over from Perth at the moment.
Wow, Perth.
He's come
That's
over
far.
especially.
It's not as far as Mars, but
It's not as far as Perth. That's true. But thanks for coming all the way from Perth,
Plenty
Josh.
of red sand.
Yes.
Alrighty, and now let's meet our 3 guests who are coming in online. So let's see them. Well, there we go. Look at those 3 lovely faces. So we have Diane.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diane. I'm 45 and I live in Melbourne.
All right, thank you. Welcome. And David.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm 34. I had to think about that for a second. And now I live in Melbourne.
Okay, thanks. And we have Electra as well. Hi, Electra.
Hi, I'm Electra. I'm 37. I'm in Brisbane.
Okay, well,
Brisbane.
thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
Electra.
thank you very much. So you've been on a slightly
Thank
different
you.
time zone to us then right now.
Yeah, we're an hour. I think we're an hour behind, aren't we?
No, yep, without the daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty.
All right, well, I know that there's a lot of questions out there from the students today, so I think we should just jump right in and get started. And the first question is from Mathura, and it comes from Jones. Now, Jones, I will get you to step right up to the camera and get your teacher to unmute your microphone, and you need to speak up nice and clear so that we can hear you, and go ahead and ask your question.
And then when Jones asks that question, we'll just direct that to some of the candidates here in the early stages.
Yep.
Away you go, Jones.
Why would you be interested in living on a planet that has no infrastructure or nature that we know of, especially with only 4 people going up there?
That is a good question. Infrastructure. That's a big word.
What does he mean? What does he mean?
What?
Jones,
Yeah, what do you
Jones,
mean,
what do you mean by
Jones?
infrastructure?
Why would you want to go up there with no progress of buildings apart from where they are going to be living in, and with no nature that we know of, or
All right.
and just 4 people up there?
Okay, great. Thanks for
Excellent.
clarifying that. Okay, so Jake, maybe you want to answer that one.
Sure.
Why do you want to go up there?
Well, I feel the reason that I specifically want to go up there is because it's a new experience. It's a reason to try something different. It's the sort of a similar reason as when the settlers first came to Australia. Of course, there was nature here, but they weren't 100% sure of that, and there was no infrastructure. So it's sort of that excitement factor of not knowing what's up there. And even though we do know there's nothing up there, I get to be a part of helping make what's up there.
Wow.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah. Maybe Electra. We'll go to someone who's dialed in. Electra, do you have a response to that question for Jones?
A number of missions that will be going in beforehand to set things up for the astronauts, so there actually will be stuff there when we arrive, so we won't be going in with nothing to go to. But beyond that, we will then have to start harvesting resources and creating an entirely new civilization on a planet, and that really excites me. The opportunity to do that is just unparalleled.
Right. So, Electra, you're saying that, and we know that from the introductory video that we saw from Mars, when that the infrastructure will be there when you arrive, because they're going to be sending that up before you, and they're going to be sending rovers that will put that in place before the humans arrive, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Perhaps not exactly the same infrastructure that Jones is talking about in some ways, but
Yeah.
maybe a bit smaller, a little bit more compact. But yeah, all right, that's both good answers.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Let's go to another question, and this one is close to many of your hearts out there. I'm going to actually take this question from Leanna and Elizabeth at St Clair High School, but it wasn't just Leanna and Elizabeth really, also Annie and Julia and Ratu from the same school, and we had Peter from Ramsgate and also Ruby from New Lambton.
You all had the same question.
Yeah, basically the same question. So Leanna and Elizabeth, could you stand up and ask the candidates your question, please?
How do you cope with knowing that you'll never see your family again?
Sanui, could you take that one for us?
Sure. Fine, I guess. it's a job, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Move overseas, move to Mars. Same kind of scenario, really. We still got web link. Still can communicate to some degree. So, the whole point really is just make new friends and family, I suppose.
So when it says how do you cope, you're thinking there's nothing to cope with?
Well, no, not really.
All right.
Just another job.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Very hard.
Solid response. What about Diane? Could you give us a response to that one? How would you cope knowing that you'll never see your family and friends again?
Sure. I mean, we won't be able to see our family and friends in the way that we do now, like catch up with mum for a coffee or something like that. But as Sinui said, we will have access to the internet, so we can keep in touch. However, one of the biggest challenges that all astronauts face when it comes to their health is actually usually the psychological challenges that come through isolation and depression. So what's going to be really important for all of us that manage to get through is that family unit that we build with the other astronauts. So there will be 4 of us that go, and we'll spend about 9 years training together to build what's kind of going to be like a brand new family. So, and that's going to be so important to help support each other and to get through those challenging times. But we will definitely have access to our family and friends back home, just not in the same way we used to. I can't just pick up the phone and dial my mum. So I'll miss her.
Yeah, I can imagine that it would be, it'll be a challenge, and it will take some strength, but like Sinui said, it's not impossible, and it is just, I guess, another job.
Yeah, I guess the way, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Now we have a question from Bangalore Public School about the hardest part. So I'm not sure who at Bangalore Public School wanted to ask about that.
What do you think will be the hardest part about living on Mars?
Okay, so why don't we get David online to answer that one.
Hi, this is awesome. This technology is really cool. So I don't think the communication is going to be a problem. We can already do this kind of stuff. I think the dust is going to be the hardest bit. The dust on Mars is going to get into everything and drive me crazy. I think that'll be pretty tricky. Don't know what else might go wrong.
I guess coming from Australia, we're used to you're already used to all that dust, so it might not be so bad.
Well, the dust on Mars is going to be a lot different. I mean, it's everywhere from the start, and it's finer, much finer, so it actually gets into everything. We're going to have to clean out suits and everything before you get back into the full living habitation area. Otherwise, the dust will get everywhere into the food. It's going to be. You have to be pretty vigilant, I reckon, to keep that at bay.
Yeah, and the dust on Mars, probably the dustiest planet that we have in the solar system. Some of the biggest storms, and those ones that are going to engulf the entire planet for extended periods of time. It might be quite hard. A bit like Antarctica, I guess, when it goes into lockdown.
Yeah, full on, definitely.
Not dust in Antarctica. Alrighty, okay, we're going to take another question because we've got one more of our candidates we'd like to hear from before we do something special with them in just a moment. And we're going to go to Ramsgate, and it's Jackson, Jackson, at Ramsgate. And this is also a question that Annie had from St Clair High School as well. So Jackson, your question please.
Are you confident about this experience, and are you fearful of dying?
So are you confident about this experience, and are you fearful of dying? So Josh, how about you take that one?
That's a really tough question, Jackson. I'm confident that if we keep trying and keep working towards this happening, it will. It may not happen in 10 years, it may take longer, there could be setbacks, but provided people are still trying to make it happen, we'll get there eventually. Am I afraid of dying? We'll get to it a little bit later on, but I've had a lot of close calls in the past, and the thing that scares me more than me dying is letting someone else down in the process. So I'm less scared about something going wrong and me winding up out an airlock than being in a position where I could help someone and let them down. So, no, I'm not too scared of dying. I'm more concerned about someone else dying.
Wow, that's very Armageddon kind of response.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we've heard a number of questions from you guys out there, and we've now heard from each of our contestants. But we are going to...
Candidates.
Sorry, I did it. Well, they're going to be contestants in this little bit.
Right.
We're going to push the envelope a little bit with them. If you've actually been onto... Has anyone been onto the Mars One website and had a bit of a look at some of the videos? Yes?
Okay, some hands up, yeah.
And so you'll know that there is a little bit of a reality TV feel already starting, and that is one of the possibilities with this whole project. So I thought that we would let each of our candidates share with you in a very short amount of time, 45 seconds is all they've got, to tell you why they want to go and why they think they're a good choice. And to keep it fair, I thought we would make it random.
Okay.
All right, so all 6 contestants, candidates, get ready. And we honestly do not know which is going to come out.
Okay, no looking?
No looking. Pull out.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
okay.
you. David.
David.
David. Now
you're first up, David.
Now,
so
while you're preparing yourself, David. Yes. So a little timer is going to come up on the screen, and we're just focusing the camera just on you. So it'll be just you for 45 seconds, and you need to tell us as fluently as you can why you want to go to Mars and why you think you'd be a good choice. And don't worry, all the others get the same chance. You'll just have to bite the bullet and go first. All right.
Go ahead.
When you're ready. Okay, so we'll tell you, David, when your 45 seconds go. Ready, set, go.
I don't know how to do it, but I'll tell you why I want to go first. I can't actually understand why anyone wouldn't to go. I mean, it's sitting there out there saying, you can't come to me. We're going to prove it wrong. We're going to go to Mars and we're going to set up a full colony there. That's the most exciting thing I can think of. Why I should go, why people should pick me, is, well, for the TV aspect, I'm the hilarious one. I'm going to be fun. I'll be 7 months chip there saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And playing an internal game of I Spy. I think I've got the kind of patience that would work for a team too, that would be able to say, we can get the job done without getting frustrated with each other.
All right, 45 seconds. Thank you. Well done. Give him a clap. Come on. That was pretty good.
That was a very good siren there, Craig.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're not going to make our comments. I want you guys out there to start logging in your minds what you think about each of these candidates, and if you've got a little bit of note paper and you'd like to jot something down, or your teacher might want to make some little scoring or something, that's up to you. But because in our second half, you'll need to recall some of this to help you with your voting as we go through. And also the questions that you have in that second half might come from some of the things that the candidates have said. We're going again.
We're going again. You pick this time.
Nobody's safe. We'll do 2 this time, and then we'll take another question from the students. Alrighty. Josh! All right, so it's Josh's turn. And we'll just put that little graphic up and make sure that we get it on Josh. Now, Josh, you will be able to see the timer, so that's an advantage.
Definitely.
Over Dave. And just coming up now. So Josh there with a nice little instrument, playing a little ukulele. All right.
All right. Well, I suppose the reason why I want to see us go to Mars and why I see it as being so important is essentially so that all of you kids that are watching in about 10 years' time will have the opportunity to hopefully do it yourselves. By someone going first, we can set up a colony and make it easier for people in the future to come around and explore even further. So it's my hope that in 10, 15 years' time, you'll all be looking at going and exploring places like Europa and Triton and all these other different places in our solar system. I hope I'm a good candidate primarily because of my diversity. I worked with both the Australian and the British military. I studied applied physics and psychology. I worked as a stand-up comic for a very long time, so hopefully I'll be competing with Dave.
All right. Well done. And I'm just noticing there with that black background, it looks like a floating head.
Optical illusion.
Yeah. All right, fabulous.
All right, well, maybe we could get to some more questions.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Okay, well, we have a question from St. Clair from Julia. So, Julia, if you can stand up so that we can see you and tell us what your question is.
Do you know what you'll be doing on Mars? Can you outline your day for us?
Who might want to answer that one? Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Go.
Sinui.
Maintenance and repair.
Maintenance and
It's very matter of fact.
Okay, well, yeah.
So,
yeah,
so
like,
explain a bit more.
I don't know, we've got to assemble the habitats, set up the infrastructure, as one of the other kids said, put out the solar panels, start the power, make sure everything's running smoothly, and keep on maintaining the equipment.
So what about...
piece of cake, just maintenance and repair.
So have you guys actually been told yet about this, like given any idea of exactly what happened, or is that just through your own research into other space programs and things?
We've had some guidance. So one of the big things is our physical fitness. So we're looking at doing about 2 to 3 hours of exercise each day to sort of maintain muscle mass and things like that. But yeah, Sinui's dead on. Like, we will essentially be a construction crew initially. Other things like growing plants, we're supposed to be going vegan. So,
really?
which is horrifying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. No animals.
So yeah, the idea is we become a self-sustaining colony. So we'll have to grow our own food and look after all the equipment and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Now,
maybe 3D printing the food.
Lots of 3D printing.
Yeah.
Now, Diana, I know that you're, you have a lot of knowledge about sustainability and growing food and stuff like that. How do you see your role there?
So I see my role is probably involved with ensuring that our food system is a closed loop cycle in particular. So it's about what sort of nutrients we're going to have available to ensure that we're going to be healthy enough, at the same time managing the waste aspects and ensuring that the food can grow in such a way that it's ready to be harvested at the right time. We've got to remember things are going to be different on Mars. Even though we'll be in an enclosed environment to grow the food, we don't know what the seasonal variation on Mars will do. The seasons are so different on Mars than they are on Earth. And if you think about how long it takes food to grow here, what's going to happen there? And there's a lot of advances in technology that's going to help us grow food a lot faster. But, yeah, it's going to be making sure that that food system works fluidly.
Yeah, definitely important.
Yeah. All right, so there is going to be plenty to do. That's for sure. All right, let's take a few more candidates. All right, give them another little 45-second pitch.
Sure. Do you want to pick again?
Yes.
Or do we want someone else to pick?
Someone who's already had a go. Not you.
No, you've had a go.
Josh?
Yep. Jake.
Woohoo! All right, so Jake, we'll just get the camera onto Jake. Oh, look at that. Must be a bit of a photographer there. Oh, boarding pass.
So Jake, you've got 45 seconds.
My name's Jake. I'm at university at the moment, and why I think it would be a great idea to go to Mars is because, like I was talking about before, it's something that's never been done before. To set up something potentially as an outpost to go further on in the universe is just an amazing opportunity. The reason why I believe I would be a reasonable candidate to be able to go, I'm kind of smart, I'm kind of funny. Obviously can't compete with Josh over here, who's been a comedian for a huge amount of years. But I also like to learn things. I like to be engaged with people. As you saw in some of my photos, I'm also always have a camera in hand or a audio recorder, because that's one of my other passions, a bit of media.
All right, look at that, right on the zero, countdown. Well done, well done, Jake.
I'm hearing a lot of people talking about humor. That seems to be quite important in this whole endeavor. Why is humor so important? Well, does anyone want to respond to that? No one.
I can.
let's take someone online.
Well, I mean, humour is going to be essential because we'll go crazy without it. This is four people living together constantly. If they're not getting along together and having a fun time, then someone's going to have a nightmare. back.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it definitely helps to have, you know, a bit of a laugh and relieve some of that tension.
well, and it was one of the 3 questions that the Mars one wanted in your audition video, in your applicant's video. The top 2 we've already had, and then that other one about sense of humour. So I guess staying sane and
requires humour.
Yeah,
you've got to have fun, and you've got to enjoy your job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Let's pull another one out. And Electra. All right.
Hi there.
Hi. So Electra, you're going to tell us why you want to go and why you think you'd be a good choice.
So you need to convince us, because we're going to be voting in just a little while. So.
And we know you can't see the 45-second timer, so we'll just tell you when to start and when to finish. And let me see. Timer up for us, please, Steve. There we go.
Awesome.
And
go ahead.
off you go.
I want to go to Mars because it's my dream. Mars One's mission to Mars is an incredibly rare and unique opportunity for humanity to lay the foundations and realise that colonisation of another planet could be possible. And space is full of unexplored resources, and it offers us unparalleled potential that we can expand our knowledge of human exploration and science. And I want to be a part of that. If you're ever given a lifetime opportunity that you can do something really, really great, then you have to immerse yourself completely and wholly into fulfilling that dream. And you need to use every bit of courage, passion, and inspiration that you have to seize that opportunity with every moment of your being. And there's a lot that we don't know about it yet, and there's a long way to go, but I'm confident that we can do this together.
All right. Well,
Good timing.
yeah, you guys have practiced.
Yeah, I think you rehearsed maybe to be able to land right on time like that.
So seeing as we started a bit late, let's keep going.
All right.
Alrighty?
Cool. Let's go Sanui. So Sanui's going to tell us in 45 seconds.
Which I'm sure he won't need.
No, he can
He's going
probably.
he's going to be to the point, nice and matter of fact when we get there. But just wait a minute until we let the people see your life there. You have a partner there or a friend there?
No, just a very good friend.
Okay.
A very good friend. Okay.
Alrighty. So we're sorry that side of the couch looks a bit short, but
No, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't wait.
Okay. When you're ready,
Way to
Sanui.
go.
Time starts now.
All right, so I think all the candidates would agree it's an opportunity of a lifetime, an awesome project. Explore Mars in all its aspects: construction, maintenance, geology, setting up the food resources, as Diane pointed out, and generally, I've worked with different charities. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy building projects, and yeah, it's fun.
All right. Look at that.
See, we
30
knew.
30 seconds. Well done. He's going to save oxygen.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, there's no randomness left, so we might as well go.
Oh yeah, let's
Yeah.
just do them all.
Who could this be?
Who's the last one? David.
David.
Oh no, sorry, Diane.
Oh, yes, of course. I was going to say something went wrong. All right, so Diane.
We're just looking at some photos of you here sailing. We know that you're quite the adventurer. So yeah, you can tell us a little bit about that and why you want to go to Mars in 45 seconds. You need to convince us because we'll be voting in a little bit. So we'll just get that timer up for you and we'll let you know when time is up. So wait, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, like some of the other guys have said, Mars is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but not just because of what we can do ourselves, but what we can do on behalf of the rest of the world, and also to inspire the rest of the world. I mean, after the lunar landing, more people applied to get PhDs than any other time in history. So imagine the incredible advances in science that will come from the Mars mission. Why me? Well, we've talked about my sustainability and interest in food systems, and as well as showing that I think that we can do anything and nothing is insurmountable, I want to show the world that we can live sustainably, that we can power our lives with renewable energy, and that we can grow everything we need to survive. So it's not impossible, and Mars is a great place to show it.
Well done. Well done. I mean, I think that the Mars one, all they have to do is pick from... There's 7 Australians.
Oh,
6 or 7 Australians.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. We've got them here.
Yeah, they're the best.
Okay, so let's take one more question from the schools, and then we'll open up the lines and let you guys begin to vote, and also to send in some questions that may have occurred to you. After hearing the
started. Yeah. So we have another question from Bangalore Public School about something to take. So whoever that person is who wants to ask that question, step right up and ask away.
If there was one thing you could take, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. How about we get everyone to give us a response to that? So that's just short answer. All right. If there was one thing you could take.
One thing to take, an endless supply of chocolate.
No, that's
my
you can't say that though. That's like saying, in my 3 wishes, my first one is I want more wishes. So you have to go again.
Oh yeah, if I have to go again, probably take an Xbox with me.
An Xbox.
Yeah, well,
yeah, sure.
That's right.
Snowy?
Little book of engineering. It's got all equations and calculations on different aspects of machining and physics and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a little guide.
Okay. All right. And Josh?
Well, I've actually brought it with me, but my ukulele. I would take a ukulele and punish the rest of the crew for coming with me.
Well, actually, that's interesting, because when we interviewed Chris Hadfield, the astronaut who has the guitar, and it was the psychologists for the space station that put the guitar up there for them to keep them sane. So
we all thought he brought it with him, but no, they sent it up. And
there's a lot of instruments on the ISS. There's a ukulele, there's a flute, there's a keyboard, there's all sorts of things.
All right, cool. There we go.
What about David? David, what would you bring?
It's actually a question I've been thinking about quite a lot. It has to be something that can't be digitized. So books and music and stuff, that's all I think we can just bring that on a USB. Looking around my room, I found one thing that I absolutely have to take, and it won't take up any extra weight really in the shuttle. My teddy bear.
Oh.
Fifth member of the crew.
Very nice.
Just him and Mr. Bean. All right, Diane?
Yes. Oh gosh, a bit like the other guys, it's hard. I mean, what can you not make on 3D printing as well when you get to Mars? It's going to have to be something that's got memory associated with it. So maybe the running shoes that I ran my last marathon in. Probably. Okay. Yeah. The running shoes.
Excellent. And Electra, what would you bring?
I think that we'll be provided with pretty much everything that we need. So, all the photographs and things, everything will be digitised. Maybe a keyboard, just to learn piano. I think it might be important to learn a new skill while you're there. That might be something that I might consider.
Okay.
All right.
Small keyboard. Very, very good question from Bangalore there.
Yeah. All right. Let's give all of our candidates a round of applause at this point, because I think they are doing extremely well. So everybody out there, please, come on. This is a brave thing they're doing. It's not a brave thing they've signed up for, but it's a brave thing to sit in front of us.
This is nothing compared to what they're going to be doing.
Yeah. So what we'd like to do now is give you the opportunity to interact with us in a slightly different way. So we sent to your teacher yesterday a little URL, a link to a Survey Monkey that we've put out there. It's a nice, easy one to remember. Has anybody out there actually got a device with them at the moment? A laptop? I can see some of you with laptops, or maybe if you're allowed to use your, maybe tablets or iPhones or things like that. Okay, look at all of them. Oh, fabulous. Excellent. Okay, so we'll just bring up the URL now, Steve, and this is where we want you to go. So it's very easy to remember anyway. surveymonkey.com/S for survey /MarsLab. surveymonkey.com/S/MarsLab. There's only 2 questions. One is, who do you think should go to Mars? And you'll actually see that there are 7 names on there. Arno is one of them. Unfortunately, Arno couldn't make it at the last minute today, so I'm suggesting you shouldn't vote for him. because you don't know anything about him. Mind you, if you do vote for him, that's not a good look for the others. But anyway, all right, so you can simply select who you would like, and then also down the bottom is an opportunity for you to write a question, or if you don't really have a question, maybe just a comment. And they'll come through to James, and he's going to pass them on to us. And just over the next 20 minutes, we'll have a look at some of the results that are coming through. All right, so surveymonkey.com/s/MarsLab. And now, while you're doing that, I think we'll keep talking.
Well, we'll keep talking, and there are some questions that have come through already from people who sent them in to us yesterday. So we're just going to go to the schools and keep getting your questions in as you're voting. So we have Jackson at New Lambton, who has a question. Jackson, are you ready to ask your question?
Well, just firstly, I'm from New Lambton South. New Lambton's up the road where it's a bit different. So do you have any, hope that maybe one day in the future when we have the technology to send a rocket from Mars and back, we could send it with, a few empty slots and bring some people back, in the future?
Very good question.
Who wants to have a go?
Who wants to answer that one?
Yeah, Josh.
Okay. Awesome question, Jackson. There's a couple of issues with just having slots free on the rockets. So we might be able to bring people back. The problem that we're going to have is by re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, our bodies will undergo up to 9 times the pressure of gravity. So our bones break down the longer that we spend in space. On Mars, it's about 38% of Earth's gravity. So our bones will break down to that point, and there's a really good chance that we wouldn't survive re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. So it's not just about being able to get people back, we've got to actually survive the re-entry into the atmosphere as well. So there's a couple of problems with it.
Wow.
So it really is a go to stay.
Pretty much. It would be great if we could find a way with bionics and things like that to do it, but there's a lot of problems to solve. It's not just getting the rockets back.
Okay, wow.
I had not heard that before.
It's not something you
Because
consider.
often what's brought up is simply the complexity and the cost, and in having a payload rocket that could bring people back. But
yeah.
All right. I mean, well, one day though, you are planning to be joined by other people, though. Other people coming up, 1x or 4x4 every few years, to not rescue you, but at least add some variety and offer some new jokes.
Oh yeah,
to push along the humour. Yeah, let's take another question.
Yeah, because we've got some votes coming in, which we can see, so that's excellent. But we might give you a bit more of an opportunity to vote, and we'll get Alyssa at St. Clair High School to ask her question.
What? Me? Oh, yes. Hi. How do you prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally for something so extreme?
Yeah, does someone on Zoom want to answer that question? Maybe David, Electra, or Diane?
Yeah. You pretty much you need to start getting yourself fit, because physical fitness is something that really contributes to your mental health as well. If you're physically fit, then your mental health will be a lot better. It's nature's antidote to stress. It's nature's antidote to a lot of problems that you may encounter. Another issue is getting plenty of rest as well. In the lead up to this, you need to take time off first and just to prepare yourself so that you can really focus on what you need to do. And there's quite a bit of material that we need to learn as well. So we need to have good nutrition so that our minds are functioning properly in the lead up to this event.
And when it comes to some of the psychological aspects too, I mean, dealing with isolation, if you haven't had experience with that, I mean, I grew up in the outback in the Northern Territory in the desert, so I was a little bit used to it. However, I've spent some time recently meeting with some guys who are Antarctic and Arctic explorers, just to get a sense as well for what they go through and some of the ways that they've dealt with those challenges that they've faced when they've been in isolation. So getting an understanding of that and starting to build your own, I suppose, resilience around that is going to be important.
Yeah.
Let's take an online question. Here's one that's come through. It says, if there was one family member that you could take, who would it be? This will get back. Jake?
I guess if I was to take any family member, I would probably take my dog. I'm very close to him. I've had him for an endless amount of years. I don't even remember when I got him, but it was a long time ago. We've shared a lot of time together, and he's a great family member to bring.
Compact.
Yeah, he's very compact as well. Yeah. Fits inside my suitcase.
Yeah, excellent.
What's his name?
Paws.
Paws. Very nice. What about you?
Yeah, I'll just take my brother. He's good at fixing stuff too.
Dual maintenance team. Yeah. All right. Excellent. And maybe David.
David, who would you bring?
I was trying to think about that. Who would I bring? I don't think any of my family would want to come. They all think I'm mad for even applying. I'd want my cousin to come, but she's married with children now, so I think that one's probably out of the question. I've got a whole animal sanctuary that I run here. I'd love to take one of them, but it wouldn't be fair just to pick one of them. So all the other chickens and pigeons and everything, they'd complain that they weren't. I don't know, I can't answer that question. It's too tough.
Yeah, alrighty.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got a question that came in. I saw it was a theme as well that came across some of the other schools, and it was, what characteristics would you look for in other teammates? So there's only going to be 4 people going in this. That's the plan. What makes up a good team? We know what, we think of a soccer team, or we think of a badminton team or something like this. But what makes up a good team? And so what kind of characteristics are you going to be looking for? Can we maybe Electra?
You need people with complementary skills in a team. Obviously, everyone in the team will need to play their part in being able to fix things completely in case someone else is not able to fix anything or they become incapacitated or whatever. So everyone needs to be trained at that level to be able to fix the day-to-day living things like our oxygen supply, our water supply, our food supply, all the stuff, that our life support, everything that we need to keep us alive. That's probably the most critical thing, is people who are able to have those skills. The other thing that I'll be looking for is people who you can get along with, people who aren't aggressive, that kind of thing. People who, just easygoing, and they, don't want to get on your nerves too much.
All right, excellent answer. Now, what we'd like to do is put up some results. I think we've got our first graph we'd like to have a quick look at. We'll just bring that up and we'll see who's going to Mars.
Oh, look at the reaction.
Yay.
All right.
So wait a minute, so who was all that cheering? Was that all those ladies then?
I think you've got some fans.
That's St. Clair, St. Clair High School.
St. Clair High School says, so St. Clair was that Jake you voted for? Yes.
Heart.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the only trouble with that is he wouldn't be here. All right. Yeah, he'd be gone.
Okay, so you have a fan club there, Jake.
Yeah, you have a fan club.
So Jake with Josh and Diane right behind.
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard to tell at this point why people might pick, but it is important to think that the people that go are going to represent us as humans, and I think the Mars One program is kind of right in maybe allowing humans to have a bit of a role in picking who may go.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a lot more than just popularity, who looks good, who sounds good. There's going to be all kinds of other things, and as Electra was saying, all kinds of other skills and things that we need to have as well.
And speaking of skills, so we've all been talking about how this is all a great idea, and it's going to go well, and there's going to be no problems, but not everyone thinks that way, do they? And I'm just going to throw a spanner in the works here, but so astronaut Chris Hadfield, the one with the guitar, who's been an astronaut for a long time and has gone up to space, I think 4 or 5 times. We had the special opportunity to meet him. He came here to the Powerhouse Museum, and we asked him that question. And we're just going to play a little clip of what his response was, and then we'll be curious to find out what you think about Chris Hadfield's answer to that.
One is just a theoretical exercise of discussion. And I think it's really good because it's demonstrated the huge level of worldwide interest in exploration. But there are no spaceships. There's no spacesuits. There's no landing vehicle. There's none of the things that you actually need. So it's an interesting thought experiment, but that's not going to get us to Mars. Astronauts, I think people have a misimpression of what astronauts do. We invent spaceflight. We help with spaceship design. We invent space flight operations. We develop all the procedures that allow space flight to be successful. We're involved with the flight for years and years and years to help make it have a chance of success. You don't just go to astronaut school and then get on a spaceship and go for a ride. It's, you don't get a little certificate or something. That's not how it works.
So there you go. This is what Chris Hadfield had to say about the Mars One program. So I'm curious to know, what your responses are to that. Anyone want to jump in at this point?
None of you have been astronauts before. No, all right. Yeah. So.
No, but I'm happy to.
Yeah, go ahead, Diane.
Like.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Look, I think Chris Hadfield's comments are pretty fair comments if you were just expecting to jump into a spaceship and off you go, if you were a space tourist, for example. But as you're probably aware, that the Mars One program will have an extensive amount of training for about 8 or 9 years, where these astronaut candidates that we are now will be trained to be astronauts like Chris Hadfield. So we won't only just be trained on the particular mission, but we'll also be trained on medical procedures, dental procedures, how to fix solar panels, all the sort of stuff that the current astronauts don't necessarily all need to know in the same degree. So our training will be so extensive that we'll be ready in that sense to go to Mars. And I do think that consideration about the technology is an important one too, because while we don't have it today, we do have the ability to get there. And I think Josh touched on that really well before, that, these advances will come. And we have so many other space programs trying to get to Mars. There's the Indian program, NASA have got a program, and Japanese, Europeans. There's a lot of countries trying to get there. And so when we've got so many more advances in space technology happening all at once, you see a much more rapid increase in the sort of technology available. So I think in time we absolutely will be able to get to Mars, and it's just a case of managing that project, because it will be just a project in the end, of being on Mars and setting up the colony.
Yeah.
Right. But do you wake up some mornings? Because I imagine you wake up in the mornings going, oh, that's right, Mars One. I'm on that. Do you wake up some mornings though and think, this might not work? This might not work.
Every day.
Every day.
And that's the...
Yeah, there are risks, but at the end of the day, the people who are volunteering for this are ready to accept those risks. So, yeah, there are risks, but those risks shouldn't stop us from doing things. I mean, if we never did anything that didn't involve some kind of risk, we'd never do anything at all. So you've got to be prepared to take a few risks to achieve what you want to do. You've got to take those risks to get to your dream.
Yeah. And in terms of how Chris Hadfield referred to it as a thought experiment and something that probably won't happen. Like, do you think that you're going? It's going to happen, and you're gonna go, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a little bit of a cynical view to say that it won't happen or it's just a thought experiment. The plans in place are realistic, actually. They've been thought out and they are well along the process of making it a reality. The technology that's planned to be used in the launch and the landers, that all exists now. That's not science fiction. It's not, we're hoping someone will create it one day. It can be built right now, and they're working on that already. I just sort of think too that there's an issue that governments haven't been doing it. It's 2014 and we're still not on Mars. We should have been there years ago. So I'm glad that there's now a global private attempt to get there that says let's make this a true human endeavour, not a government project too. That's going to be a major difference for setting up a new colony. They'll have a different attitude of being humans, not Australians, not Americans, not Indians, but humans and then Martians too will be the next step. That's I think the important critical element here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touche.
Yeah.
All right. So let's have a look and see if anyone's opinions have changed. Let's bring up the graph again. Josh, come on, Jake. Yeah. It's not just looks.
So Josh and Diane.
Yeah.
There's a tie there.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably got a bit to do with the moment you get to actually share and things, but I think having an understanding of what it is that you're headed towards as well, and being aware of all those things that are going on is going to influence those choices. Did anyone any of the candidates have a response to this? Does it matter? Have you done this kind of thing before, where you've been compared in quite this way?
No.
Because I wanted to ask actually, and maybe who haven't we heard? Maybe it's Sunui and also perhaps Jake again in a minute. What has happened to this point? So you guys, we've gone from 200,000 down to around about 600. So you are called the second round candidates, and it's about halfway through next year, I think, that we get to the sort of top 24 or so. So what's happened to this point?
How's the process been like?
How's the process been like?
Yeah.
Just reading up on the project, homework, working out.
So homework, what's been the homework? What, you mean you've been given things to do?
Yeah, there's information to read.
Yeah.
And go over and make sure we understand what's happening there with the project.
Any tests, exams?
No, not at the moment.
No.
Well, the one from TAFE, yeah, but...
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Jake?
So throughout this process, it's been leading up through different stages. I mean, we had to do a medical stage at one point to get checked out by a physician and an optometrist just to make sure we are pretty much sound. They're going to probably do another test later to make sure we're mentally sound as well. But I'm assuming they want to get the numbers down further there. And like Sunui was saying, this next round's got quite a bit of homework in it. We have to do a lot of reading up on all this information and make sure that we've know what we're talking about and know what we want to do. It's not just we've made it this far by accident sort of thing. And then after the interview in about a month's time, it's purely just waiting.
Yeah. So this next. There's going to be a face-to-face interview, or is it over the web? Is it a video interview?
Yeah, it's probably
with all 600 and something people. Yeah, and I presume they've give you some idea of what they're going to that is almost a test in a way, like how responsive are you, how adaptable are you?
That study material that we've got as part of our 15-minute interview, there's 3 questions that they're going to ask us from that material. So it's kind of a test and it's kind of a get to know you. So.
Okay.
And then what happens? Maybe David, what happens after that? If you are successful after the interview phase, what happens then?
Successful. But I'm going to have to ask all the students linked in here, what can I do to improve my numbers there, guys? Then the next stage is in 2015, the training will begin. So teams will start to be selected, and I believe that they're imagining that several teams or individuals will withdraw progressively as we go. The training begins next year, so it's pretty serious and starting very soon.
And then it's 7 or 8 years of solid training. I mean, I guess the worst case is, if you get that far, is you come out super trained.
You can say I went to astronaut school for a while.
Beat space camp.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Very cool.
I can see another question that's come here. Actually, what about if you need medical attention? Now, I know, Electra, that you are a dental surgeon. So that'll be fine if it's teeth.
I'm retired from it now, but it is a skill that I do have, and it stays with me. And it's not too far to go from that and to enhance your training in aviation medicine as well. I do have past experience in the Defence Force where we did some aviation medicine work also, and there's some emergency trauma work as well, and I'm a first aider obviously as well, so there's a lot that transfers to what we may end up doing, and I already actually have a skill set there that will be useful in that regard.
So, what about some of you other guys then? Have you? I mean, presumably the whole mission could be over. I mean, if we're coming back to your video games, you know, like if you're down, you're down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens? I mean, 4 people go up, someone gets, or do you all have to be able to look after each other?
Yeah. Essentially, they're going to try and train 2 of us up to essentially just become doctors and surgeons of a sense. Obviously not having all the required tools that you would if you were to go in a hospital somewhere in the city here. And then the other 2 trained extensively on just first aid. So if something was to happen, we would be able to look after each other, because if you just train up, you know, one person to be a doctor, who heals the doctor when the doctor gets sick?
Yeah, so. So it's all thought out.
One of the other options they've talked about as well, like there's obviously that on-hand type side of things, but we also have access to experts back on Earth as well. There's that 20-minute delay,
yes,
but you can still have someone send through a how-to tutorial on how to take an appendix out. You just have to do it with a 20-minute delay.
Yeah, there's been quite a few questions coming in about how will you talk back to Earth? And yes, you can do it, can't you? It's just that it's not in real time ever again. Yeah. I think, in fact, as Chris
like
said, sorry?
20-minute delay.
Yeah.
There's like a 20-minute delay. Yeah, and it varies.
Yeah.
So video phone forever is quite an ask, actually. Yeah, loss of real time. Now, we are almost at the end.
That's right.
We could go on for ages. We have lots of questions. Thank you very much for all those questions that have been coming in online, and the ones that were sent to us, and also our graphs. We not quite sure who won.
Well, can we take a last look at the graph before we go?
We might have one to bring up. Okay, we'll just have one in just a second. We'll have a look at that.
Yeah, no problem.
But what I might say is, while we're actually just waiting for that graph, can I get all the schools? We need to thank our 6 candidates for coming in, and we'll do that just after we see the graph. Just let's bring up our graph just now.
And Jake!
Sanui, you've pulled it out. Look at that. Okay, that is fantastic. So 9, 24. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on down there, David. Yeah, it might have been the mention of the chickens or all those other things. But, I mean, I think that you guys have all done fantastically. And so everybody out there in the schools, let's give them all a fantastic round of applause. Because we've really put them on the spot. I mean, this is a big thing to do, and to be asked these things.
Yeah. And thank you to you guys at school who joined us today, and for participating and sending in your questions and for voting. You were an awesome audience. Thank you.
Now, just to close off, normally at the end of our video conferences we do a big Mars Lab out, but we thought this one was a little bit different, because at the Mars Lab we're often looking at the science, the physics and the chemistry and the geology of Mars. We drive our robot rovers around and look at the engineering on that, and we're focused on that. But today we were really interested in the genuine human story here, the human endeavour that we've heard talked about. And if one of our 6 is lucky enough to go, then that really means that they're gone. And I think that's quite profound, to actually get on a craft and go. And most of them here today, well, all of you, in fact, sound like you've actually absorbed that, and you know that that is the case. So I thought we'd leave you with something a little bit different. So if you've got just another couple of minutes after we say goodbye, a little video is going to play just as a little tribute to our graduates. We're going to call them that now, today. And we have, and you'll also see that Arnaud is also going to feature on there, even though he wasn't able to be here today. So thank you very much from us at the Mars Lab.
Thank you.
Big wave. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And if you'd like to drive our rovers and things, then please come onto the website and see how you can drive our rovers around our simulated Mars.
Yeah, definitely. That was great.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it with that. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.